This is going to be a fairly quick overview of how to use the email newsletter from Fast Newsletters. You'll start by logging into your account here at the top right button from our homepage, fastnewsletters.com. Once you've logged in, you'll be taken to your downloads page. That looks like this. And you go down to the email newsletter area and choose whether you want the blue template or the green template. I'll choose the green template. I'll click on that. And when I do, it's going to prompt me to open up my MailChimp account. I've already opened the MailChimp account. I'm already logged in. In this case, just to save a little time, it's deposited the green template into my Templates tab. You can see that right here. Now to edit it, I'm in the Templates tab and it has an edit button, but I'm not going to edit it here. I'm actually going to edit it in the Live Campaign area. And that's because when you edit a template in here in the Templates tab, you can't see the live merge tags and links. And I want you to be able to test it and see how it's really going to look to your consumers and your clients before you send it. So we're going to go to this down arrow next to the edit button and we're going to choose Create Campaign. And you would do the same thing if you're sending the campaign. Anything in MailChimp that you send is called a campaign, even if it's just one email. So we're sending a campaign, which means send your newsletter. You'll come to a page exactly like this after you click that button, and there are 4 check marks here. When they're all solid green, these schedule and send buttons will light up and become active. You can't accidentally send until all of these things are green, which is a nice feature. The first thing you want to do is come to Add Recipients and choose your list. And I'm just going to choose the only list I have as a test list. You would choose your client list or your customer list. And then underneath that, you'll choose Save. And notice that now 3 of these check marks are green. If I add the subject line, all of a sudden all 4 are green. These will light up and I can send it. So if I'm not planning on doing any customizing of my email newsletter at all, I can pop a subject in there, hit send, and I'm done in a minute and a half with this whole process. But if you want to edit, I suggest just waiting on adding the subject line so that these don't become active. And that's just an extra bit of security so you don't accidentally send it. Now to edit, or to look over your newsletter, you could preview it here, but you can't make changes. So to actually edit it, you have to click that Edit Design button. And that'll open up the newsletter. You can preview and test it here. And all of the links, as I said, will be live, and that's going to be a nice feature. So you don't have to send it in an email to yourself to see how it looks and then come back in and make changes and so forth. So let's just wait a moment while that opens. Okay, so now you can see that the newsletter is over here on the left side. This area over on the right is what we call the neutral state. It's an edit window, but this is what the neutral edit window looks like with these tiles. On the right side, the newsletter has several codes in it, and those are the 2 stars on either side of the bar with some text in the middle. Those are called merge tags. And then you also see logo there and owner's image over on this side. And all of these things are pre-coded from the settings that you sent us and that we configured your account with. And so all of that will automatically pull the information in. You don't need to make any changes. I'm going to show you how that looks. We'll enter preview mode and you'll see how it pulls that information together for you in the newsletter. And there you have it. All that stuff is now active and live. If you go to mobile, you can see that it's all mobile optimized. So don't worry about any of that text in those merge texts. Just leave it alone. Unless you absolutely have to change something one-off, you can do that. You can type right over those things and change it, but it won't change it permanently. So next time you come back in here, it'll be back to the default that you gave us to put into your settings. If you need us to change something in your settings, if you change companies or phone numbers or name, then we can do that. Just send us an email and tell us that you'd like to make some changes to your configuration, to your data. All right, so sliding down the newsletter, a couple of different things to notice. When you mouse over this area over here on the left, mousing over the newsletter, you'll see a bunch of gray bars pop up. Each of those is an editable area. And when you click on the pencil icon in one of those gray bars, it'll open up an edit window over on the right side of the screen. I'm just going to do that with the image right here to show you that you can change this image pretty easily. Just click Replace, and you can upload a new image or you can put something else in there like that. We'll just go to Insert, and that'll pop a new image in. Now, ideally, you would want something that isn't quite so big, but you could put that in there if you like that kind of image. You can certainly do that, especially if it's a listing. If you've got a photo editing program, you can edit this down, or you can edit a little bit in the actual MailChimp account right here. And I would avoid resizing in MailChimp if you can at all do it, especially if you're sizing up. Sizing up will just look fuzzy. You can size down better than you can size up. Mainly crop is probably your best friend for this purpose, because you can just slide that in and get a narrower image, click apply, and then click save. And you have a little bit narrower image in that spot. It'll update in just a second. Click save and close, and you can see there that it updated. So you can put whatever you want there. You could even pull a video tile over from the right side of that neutral page, drop it in there, and add a video. You could just put a YouTube URL in there, and it'll automatically pull the thumbnail in for you. And then you can change the text into a caption of some kind. You can change the style of that by clicking the style button. Let's choose heading 1. Because we have a dark background, you can change that text to white using this little icon here, and you can center it. And then the style and settings tabs under each one of these tiles will have a content style and settings tab. So the style tab lets you set colors and size of things. The settings tabs gives you the orientation. You can do a top orientation of that or a left orientation with your video over on the right. You can change the size of the video field if you want, and you can change it from edge to edge. So there's all kinds of different things you can play around with on these different tiles when you get used to editing. So content, style, and settings. And I'll just save and close. And then I'm going to delete this using the trash can icon on the bar because I don't need that. And next we come down here to the buttons. You can change buttons, but again by clicking on the icon. You can change the button text there. You can change the URL of the button if you want to change it from your normal URL, which normally is going to be going to the list settings that you sent to us. It's going to be going to the main URL, your main search page. If you want to manually change it, just type your URL right over the top of that. Now, something I recommend is if you're going to add buttons, you can just use this duplicate. And now I've got another button here, and I can add new content here. Let's say I want to do a search listings under a certain price, which is a nice feature to give to people, even though they can search for all listings and all prices. Sometimes just putting a specific type of search in a button gets more clicks. So you can try that out. For example, search homes under 300,000 or whatever the median price is in your area, and then put the URL of that specific search in right there, and then save and close. I'm going to go ahead and delete that for now. Over on this side we have a call to action which you could change. You could remove this and put a photo in here of a listing, and instead of saying email me, you could say click here for more information, and then change that URL to a page where you have that listing. And then we have a quote. We always have a do you know or a quiz question type thing. The quiz question answer is down at the bottom. And then several articles. Usually the main article is related in some way to housing or lifestyle or real estate. And then we have something, if it's appropriate, we have something for a seasonal article, and then a motivational article or a humorous article, something to appeal to a broader sense of readership. And then finally, all the way down is just the contact information again with the social media buttons. Social media buttons are already hooked up to your social media accounts. This is your home, your email, your Facebook, and your Twitter. And the share this newsletter with a friend button is a way for you to encourage people to share the newsletter and to give you referrals. You can also add, we'll provide you with a couple of extra icons, for example, Instagram, and you can put your Instagram URL, add the icon in, and add that Instagram URL right there. And that's it. You could preview what you've done again by going to that preview button. So you can test all your links from here and make sure that everything is working the way it's supposed to and you expect it to. And I would go through each one of them to make sure they're all correctly hooked up. Okay, so that's about it. You can preview it again in mobile. And once you're finished and you're happy with everything and everything is functioning the way it's supposed to, now you come down to save and close. You click that save and close button. Now's the time when you go and you enter the subject line, and when you enter that subject line, you click Save, and you see that now all of these check marks are green. This is activated. You can schedule it to go out later. Let's say you wanted to do your newsletter when it comes out on the 15th, but you don't want it to send until the 1st. You can schedule that right there. Or if you're ready to send it, you would send it right now.